Answer with me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, here it goes. Do you believe in monogamy? Absolutely. Because I don't believe in getting herpes. I believe in monogamy, so I don't have to wake up with an STD in the morning.
Wow, that's so dramatic, Kendra.
No, you know what? No, but it's not dramatic. But it's like, well, again, like you said in the beginning, really I'm a journalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for 20 years, I interviewed celebrities like, actors, radio, television. And then 5 years ago, I started my dating show, and I've been interviewing single people ever since. And I love it. I love it. It's my joy. We'll get into all of that. But one thing I've learned is people don't talk about the serious act of sex anymore. It's just like we have gotten to this situationship space without recognizing, like, not only are you potentially sharing like a man, and that means you could be potentially sharing an STD. So if the girl that you're sleeping with got a cold and now I got a cold, like, these are the things that we are so lost in this conversation, and we have to bring it back to the forefront because, babies are just one thing that can happen, but you can literally, like, as last I checked, herpes still exists,
amongst others.
Yeah, and other things, and just that. So yeah, I believe in monogamy because it's like, let's just get back to the point of when you are sharing your body with someone. And look, they're gonna be like, why is Kendra being so deep? But let's just be honest. When you're sharing your body with someone, you are putting your life at risk. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what that person, and you're putting your life at risk for a couple of reasons, right? One, they can have a crazy wife who will kill you if she finds out about you, or the guy you can have a crazy boyfriend that will kill the guy you're sleeping with. That's one way life at risk. And then the other way is they can be carrying an STD, and if they give it to you in that moment, then now you have it. It was that moment of pressure.
Okay, believe it or not, Kendra G is going to be the more reasonable person in this discussion for one of the first times in a long time. But right now, she's, of course, just doing what we typically see Kendra G do. When you're an older woman in the dating market, it tends to work against you because you end up being more fearful and apprehensive because you've been through so much in the dating market, which is what we call baggage. You've experienced so much. The dating market is even a more scary place than it's ever been. And you have more experience than you've ever had. This is why it's important that women make good decisions in the dating market when they're young. Go figure. Let's get back into it.
Worth it. I know you guys wasn't expecting Kendra G to say all that today.
Well, I mean, when you put it like that, why not stay single? My life is at risk at every moment. No, I do think, I think let's address non-monogamous relationships in that way.
Okay.
I am not saying free for all sleep with people.
Right.
There are people who are in non-monogamous relationships who are frequently tested.
Yes.
Who have open communication.
Yes.
Do you believe that those relationships, not for you?
Right. No, absolutely. I believe the one thing my show taught me is you got to find your tribe. Okay, it's just like, you gotta find. You want to keep this one?
No,
it's
no,
like, and I thought about it like this. I have so many gay friends, LGBTQ friends. I'm a big supporter.
I gotta say something real quick. Kendra G's legs are shiny as shit. I'm gonna use that shit to shine my car, boy. Okay, my bad. Let's stay focused.
So I'm a supporter if a man and a man feel as though they love each other and they want to be in a relationship. So if I can support that, if a man is honest and is like, I can't be with one woman, I have to be with more than one woman, it wouldn't be for me, but I have to respect his decision of how he wants to date, just like I respect two men who want to be in a relationship, right? I think that we're in a space right now where you gotta be, I'd rather you tell me what it is, let me have the decision to make on my own, and it might not be for me, but you go find your tribe. And also hosting my show, what I learned was I had women call me up. Women will call in and say, we're looking for a woman for me and my guy. So I always thought it was just men that wanted that. No, clearly it's women too.
I think monogamy is...
I'm so sorry. I'm coughing because of
you. It's okay.
I wanted, every time I cough, it's because of Joy's Halloween party.
There's two guests.
I woke up.
Two guests in a row now have been complaining.
I loved it, but I'm just letting you know.
We had L'Oreal on too, and she was like,
she got sick. So just edit those coughs out, just FYI. But I don't feel bad because it's your fault. But anyway.
I think monogamy is.
Monogamy wouldn't work for you?
No, I prefer monogamy. I am a monogamous person when I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
If I choose to be in a relationship, I'm in a relationship. Okay. I don't feel the need to, it's not even, my body doesn't like multiple people.
Okay.
So it just doesn't respond to that. And I don't desire other people.
Okay.
Physically, emotionally.
Most women are wired like that.
Yeah, but I also very much understand that for certain people in certain spaces, it's very hard to be in a monogamous relationship. And I don't think it's an excuse for men to cheat. I think it's important for people to have open conversations about what actually works for them.
Well, let's define cheating, because if you're in a situationship and the guy...
Well, situationships are not... I'm not even talking about situationships. A situationship is just one person too attached to someone who is not with them.
Right. But the reason I said cheating is because I feel like a lot of times you got to decide who you are in this relationship too, right? Because women say, oh, a guy cheated, but he was never committed to you, right?
Right.
You never had the conversation of exclusivity.
Yeah, that's not cheating.
So that's not cheating, right? So we're on the same page there. I think anything with open dialogue. Now, you say you feel like monogamy is hard. When you were saying that, was you saying it from a male's perspective or a woman's perspective?
I think for men, monogamy is obviously harder than it is for women.
Why?
Let's keep in mind, Kendra G's been on this planet for 50 years just about, and she still doesn't understand the biological differences between men and women. This is why Kendra G has had so many issues in the dating market. This is why every 5 years, Kendra G's dating standards change depending on what's going on in her life. Let's get back into it.
Take things down. I don't know. I'm not a man. I don't know why they do the things that they do.
I think that, see, your world, you've been a blessed somebody. Like your regular world is the 1% of the human beings that walk on this planet, right? Like your regular world, your regular life are, extremely successful men, extremely wealthy men. That's your regular life. No, there's no...
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying certain people, certain people, monogamy becomes difficult. If you're traveling all the time for work, if you're an entertainer all over the world, if you're someone who has women throwing themselves at them constantly, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong.
Right.
I'm saying that women, especially beautiful women, we have this our entire lives. Right. Men throwing themselves at us. Like, okay, if I want to have sex tonight, just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm having sex tonight. They can come here now. I'll be in the bathroom. Like there's no work required at all. Zero work. I have to move my thumb around to make that happen. So I just think that, and you're right, I am exposed to situations and circumstances that make me say this, but that I'm also speaking about certain situations. I'm not saying that a guy that can come home every day after work and his wife is there needs to be in a non-monogamous relationship. However, those people can be in non-monogamous relationships as well if they have an open dialogue about it.
Right. Only thing I would challenge is the word most, because really although it's your regular life, you were talking about at best 5% of men. There's only really 5% of men that have that life, that are traveling. When we put the whole percentile out there, right? So 5% of men make that kind of money, traveling around the world, on jets. That doesn't represent the majority of men.
I think that this is a biological argument. Even monogamous men, a lot of them are monogamous because they don't really have a choice. It has a lot to do with where they're positioned financially a lot of the times. We just don't have these discussions. Most men, if they could exercise options, they would. That's why a man is as faithful as the options that he has presented to him. Most men who we try to champion as faithful men or men who did the right thing, a lot of times if you look deeper into it, he didn't really have anything else to do but be faithful. That was the intellectual choice, and it was probably still the best choice because he probably wanted to keep his family together. Because he's making closer money to what his woman makes, he's at risk of losing his family. Where a guy who makes $1 million, if he cheats, a woman might stay. That's why the guy who makes $1 million shouldn't feel bad for having options, because if the guy who made $1 million only made 50 grand, that same woman would treat him differently.
Fusion comes in. So that 5% of men, yes, they have every single desire and way with their women. Most men have to work to get a woman. Most men can't even afford to sleep with, afford to date more than one woman. Now, there's some men who, and I said this recently, their penis is their currency. And let me break that down. They may not have a job, but they have good penis, and they have figured out a way to attach themselves to women who might do better than them in life, right? No judgment.
Yes, judgment. Even when you're trying to support men, you end up messing up, Kendra. We don't support men who are looking to live off women, not even in these spaces. I bet you would tell somebody that RP content creators or men advocate or dating and relationship content creators support that type of behavior, but actually we don't. And that's not a real thing. All men who try to hold value in the dating market that way, it doesn't sustain. Even if the man is gorgeous and good looking, it only holds out for so long. Eventually the woman wants you to start paying something and being something real. Eventually she'll leave you for a guy who can't hit it as good but got some money. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
Observation, right?
No, good dick will ruin your life.
Huh? Well, it depends on who you ask. I think Kris Jenner would beg to differ. I think Kris Jenner is like living her best life. Do you think okay, I mean, this is no shot, right? Like, this is not a diss. I'm just talking about observation. Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian's mom, is 66 years old, right?
Okay.
Her boyfriend is maybe 35, 40. I don't know how old he is. Maybe he's 40, right? Do you think he wakes up every single day and says, I can't wait to sleep with a 66 or a 70-year-old white woman? No, he wakes up every day.
I don't know.
Girl, if she wasn't a billionaire in her rights, I highly doubt they would be in a relationship.
I don't know. I can't speak to what he's attracted to.
Well, I can.
When the delusional classes with the delusional. Again, Kris Jenner is not a good example of an older woman living her best life. And I don't agree with Joy all the way, but I do agree that Kris Jenner isn't a good example. Every time Kendra tries to use an example of a woman to try to prove a point, it's usually somebody who none of us should want to get behind. It's usually somebody who is borderline diabolical, borderline, you know what Kris Jenner did to her daughter, and with that tape and how she sold it and helped her sell it all across the world. Of course, this is who Kendra G finds as a good example.
She's a dummy. I watched her over the years. That is one dumb woman.
Well, I'm quite sure Kris Jenner is satisfied, and she's like, hey, and I worked hard to become who I am, and I want to have pleasure in life. And again, there is no judgment.
Hold on. I think we're talking about two different things, because there's a little more background to that situation than.
Oh, you must know him personally.
Than just that. No, I don't know him personally.
Oh, okay.
But it's what the good penis category is like. How do you get connected with that person in the first place?
What are you talking about? They're in every hood in the nation. What are you talking about? Are you talking about?
But you're just like, what is this, the penis hunters?
No,
like, how do you find them?
No, well, I'm not.
Is there a registry?
Listen, okay, I don't know, because I'm not a girl that's been around this world like that. But what I will say is this.
Let me know.
Most women, shout out to my friend, Jess Niche, who's a comedian, and she has a whole, it's a joke, but true to it, and she has a whole joke of broke penis gives it to you the best, because he needs a place to stay.
I don't think that we've really looked into this deep enough. It isn't that broke guys are hitting it better or whatever. It's that women who tried this feminist stuff, y'all went out into the dating market and tried to find other ways to value men. And the way that our women value men is they start at stimulation and then they put substance in the back. All those things they put on the back burner. And they put it on the back burner because that's what they value the most. They value a man pleasing them in bed more than they value a guy being able to take care of them for a lifetime, the same way they value a vacation over a retirement plan. They rather multiple vacations a year versus taking that same money and putting it towards retirement. Black women put stimulation over substance most of the time. That's why these guys who only have good peen to offer even get a chance in the first place, because they know that there are women out there who are looking to use their money in the dating market as leverage, which is stupid. So you end up attracting the wrong kind of men when you're using your money as leverage in the dating market. Some guy will let you pay his bills while he just sleeps with you.
could break it down for you so good. They're in every hood
Shelter
in the
is
planet.
crazy.
But there are men who definitely, like I told you, there are men who use their penis as their currency. And that's the way that they stay connected and get clothes every single week. Listen, this is what women say, y'all. I don't know. But I mean, listen, is this really foreign? I think that, but on the larger thing, and I think this is what you were talking about is, you know, being addicted to a person that can't add anything to your life other than great sex can be a dangerous place.
Yes, but I think I'm at the point in life. I think I've seen enough. I've experienced enough. I have been exposed to enough that the idea that everyone is living these lives that they are projecting, for the most part, is untrue. We do not see the intricacies of people's relationships.
Right.
What you see online, what you hear people talk about, you very rarely get the raw, real reality of people's lives. And the truth of the matter is, if you are in relationships, we shouldn't get it. I don't want to know what my married friends are going through. It's not my business.
Right.
You know, I think that there are things that you should keep to yourselves and not tell the whole world. But because of that, there is this idea that, okay, you know, oh, my man would never da. Now, sis, that's unnecessary, right? Like, I'm not painting all men with a broad brush, nor am I painting all women with a broad brush. I'm just saying that relationships are very complicated. People have understandings and arrangements within their relationships that we don't know nothing fucking about. People forgive each other. People make adjustments, all those type of things. So the original start of this conversation was monogamy. Right. I am a monogamous person when I'm in a relationship. And I do think, though, that people can have successful relationships and successful arrangements. And I know people that have successful arrangements that are not in monogamous relationships.
Absolutely.
And I think the judgment of like, okay, you're non-monogamous is that all of a sudden you're just like a crazy swinger who's fucking everybody and like, you know, there's like saliva and, you know, herpes and stuff flying around. And for some people, maybe they are. But there's also people who have just decided like, this is what I physically need. And I would rather just be honest with the person that I'm going to be with or not be with than pretend and cheat or hurt someone.
No, absolutely. We 1000% agree.
One of the issues with modern women today is that they think that they get to have the same single experience as a man. They want bodies during a single experience. They want to have multiple partners and whatever. And all they're doing is bringing their value down. It's weird watching two delusional people try to enlighten one another.
Yeah, I think when I answered the question about monogamy, I mean, I still stand on the facts that I stated, but I was definitely talking from my point of view in dating. It wouldn't work for me. But you are right. There's plenty of people who are excelling in an open relationship or open dialogue and whatever works for them. And I totally agree. And I say this all the time, you know, with social media in particular, all you see is the highlight reel. Like I always say this, if I post a picture,
I would never do this. And all of a sudden it's 10,000, it means 10,000 other things. And when it comes to like what you do, especially in a serious relationship and especially in a marriage, it really truly is no one else's business.
Right.
And that's why I say I don't like having been married. There are a lot of things that I would do differently now if I got married again.
What would you do differently, Joy?
I would be a much better communicator.
Okay.
I would definitely be a much better communicator. I think a big part of having any kind of serious relationship, whether it is business partners, longtime friends, a life partner, if you have, you know, deep family roots, like having real conversations, not necessarily transparent conversations, because for me, at least in my experience, people that always want transparent conversations, they don't have real good intentions for you. It should be a natural exchange of thoughts, of feelings, of tapping in to see where you are, checkups, those type of things. And I would just be a better communicator. I would be more honest about what was important to me. I would be definitely more vulnerable. And what I already practice in my dating life now is if I have certain non-negotiables and someone says this is something that they want, or any of that, then I just turn the page on them being a potential romantic partner.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want kids. So if you want kids,
could you date a guy that already has kids?
My dog died alone.
yes.
This is what I'm talking about when I say that career women make abysmal wives and partners. And I appreciate Joy's honesty and divulging, but everywhere career women are getting married, they're getting divorced a lot of the time. You don't make good wives because you're not available to the men who need you, and you typically have masculine characteristic traits. Not that you walk around holding your crotch like a stud or something like that, but the way that you think that you're above a man because you have your career, because people see you, because you're visible on TV or whatever the case may be, and you have a hard time communicating with a man like in a way that makes him feel respected.
Not blanket. Like, I'm not dealing with baby mama drama.
Right.
I what's like at all, like 0%. It's never been my experience in life. I'm not starting today.
So they have to be older kids.
No, not necessarily. And you have to be an active father.
Right. So the mama gonna be around if he acts a father, Joy.
What do you want the woman to be, unalive? I get it. You want everything to just be rosy and peachy, and you want a red carpet laid out for you in all of your circumstances. But life doesn't tend to always play out like that.
I think you should have a good relationship with your ex.
Yeah.
And if you don't, for whatever the reason, it's just not for me. It's for someone else.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's no different than someone saying that they don't want to date someone that has kids. Would you date someone who has kids?
I would. I mean, I wouldn't date a lot of baby mamas. You know, I think that, I feel like
you wouldn't date someone who has multiple baby mamas.
Because you don't know how to make good decisions in life. Just like how men judge women, I don't know why they think women don't judge men in return.
I think that the way men get to these places are different than men and women, though. I think more men are in situations where they had a baby with a woman and then she had the baby and then flipped the script on him than guys just had a baby and with a woman who he was intentional with and then he just ran off. And then what about all these guys who had a baby with a woman and then the woman started out earning him, then all of a sudden she thinks she's better than the man that she had kids with and he's not growing fast enough, so she leaves him. That's not even a reflection of him being a bad father. He had a baby with a woman who's a modern woman and it's like trash, but that's not all the way. It's just a poor reflection on the man. Some women are keeping their kids out of the father's life and they didn't show that in the beginning when they were dealing with the woman, or they got involved with the woman and the woman stole the seed and now is leveraging the baby. You know what I mean? I think when babies show up, nobody really cares to think about the variables a lot of the times, but we're supposed to think about them when it comes to women. We're supposed to say, oh yeah, she was young and all this other stuff and she was taken advantage of, when a lot of times that wasn't the case. But we have documented proof in the court system that men were taken advantage of and like men have been violated and scammed through the system. So women like Kendra G are always acting like every man who isn't in their child's life, he has to be some kind of bad guy, knowing damn well that there are a lot of case studies out here that prove that there are a lot of ways that a man can be out of his child's life and it's not a reflection on his fatherhood.
I'm constantly thinking about, and I'm quite sure you think about this too, once you get connected with a person, unfortunately we're public figures. It just sucks, right? At times. Because so now you have people, I'm like, is the baby mama gonna be like, well, my baby daddy dating Kendra G and the kid, I don't want any of that. Like, nope. So I would definitely, and I'll just think about like, okay, why are you not with her? What happened?
One of Kendra G's biggest issues is she has an overinflated sense of who she is. One thing that has never happened historically is women never elevate a man's status. The king could marry a woman working at Denny's and she becomes the queen. But if the queen of some kingdom decides to marry some bum on the street, he doesn't become the king of the kingdom. He doesn't inherit power. He's just the guy the queen is sleeping with.
Kids and you were married, or one woman and you have one kid, but if you come in, you can't come to me with you can't come to me with 3 baby mamas. I don't even know if I would do 2. It would probably have to be one woman that you probably had children with.
But you can date a guy with 14 names? Okay, let's stay on topic.
2 would be max, and I'm really stretching it with 2. Actually, I wouldn't do 2. You can have one baby mama. That's it. Well, ex-wife, not even a baby, like an ex-wife, or like
because
I'm not no because
for me.
You gotta. And then also, you know what's so funny? I remember before. Oh, sorry. I just look at men that and I could be wrong by this, but I have a theory that men who have multiple baby mamas don't tend to commit long. Because what I've learned from my show, the number one reason why some men are still open to marriage.
Kendra has some sort of bias towards men, not just black men, probably men in general. That if a man isn't in his child's life, or if he has multiple kids by multiple different women, it has to be because he can't commit. And in most circumstances, that probably could be true. But to just assume that right off the bat, when we know that there are women out here who play with children, we know that there are women out here who have babies and then become a whole new human being. And some women have babies and then look at the guy and don't find value in him anymore. The guy doesn't have any power over that when she has all the power with the baby in the system and all that shit.
A legacy, like that's important to them. And they can't, why'd you make that face?
Oh my God.
But that's the truth, Joy. Like the men.
Legacy what?
What do you mean
Do you
legacy?
have castles? What are you passing on?
Oh my God, Joy.
Besides generational trauma and bad hairlines,
Joy.
beards that don't connect. Ugh, this
Whoa, hold on, hyena. See, Joy, this is why nobody likes you. Because you haven't been successful with men in the way that you want, your resentment comes out. Your bitterness towards men come out. I've heard this before. I've heard other women say this. You men don't have a legacy. You guys don't have a real legacy. And it's all just to knock men down a peg so that men stop asking for what they're asking for, so that men stop asking you what you bring to the table, so that all the noise of what women need to change will be quieted just a little bit more, but it's not going to happen. There have been a lot of cheap attempts to hit men in the ego through these black female podcasts. It's really cheap. Black men, we've heard it all. We've been hearing this stuff for 20, 30 years. We've been hearing the no scrub stuff and all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. We've been hearing it. Don't bother us. What you got on being 40, single, and spending the rest of your life by yourself, though, you have a lot on that. And again, when you see these post-wall career women start to get bitter, what happens is they start to get Nile about the thing that they know they won't get. They start to act as if marriage or the idea of family and legacy is something to gloss over, and they try to make it something to just, move past, or they try to make it an unserious topic all of a sudden. But it's only because they're uncomfortable about their chances of actually getting it and obtaining it.
legacy is nonsense. I can't stand it.
Oh my God, Joy.
What are you talking about?
There are people, and
Like
I'll talk
king
about
lineage.
And I am going to defend men for a second.
Please don't.
It is a man's desire to leave something on this earth when he's gone. Right?
Build something and where
What is more?
men used to paint chapels. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, so here's the deal. Fair enough. You don't have the mommy spirit. Okay, we can see this, right? So that is fair, and there's no judgment.
Legacy.
But there are some people who could not imagine not having children.
That part I understand.
Okay, so-
by the way, have children, okay? I'm not against having children.
Wait.
I love children. I'm so glad that my brothers and sisters love making children because I have a gaggle of nieces and nephews.
But you don't.
These are some of the worst family members you could ever have. And these people never make real contributions to their family, and they try to leverage everybody else's contributions. Your nieces and nephews aren't kind of like your kids. They're your brothers and sisters' kids. They're not your kids. You didn't do anything for your family. You only did things for yourself. And as you get older, the family will keep secretly looking at you with a little bit of contempt in their gaze, because you only chose yourself and you didn't add anything to the family. You only picked joy, and it's never going to be enough. I bet you your elders ask you all the time about your life and when you're going to have a kid and when you're going to get married. They don't care about what you do on ESPN. And that's the beautiful thing about family. No matter how far you rise and what you do, they just sort of see you for who you've always been, and they want to see you do the things that they know you will regret not doing. Let's get back into it.
As a part of their legacy.
But what legacy? What are you talking about?
I mean, okay, I want to try to defend
My
this.
legacy.
I hear this a lot, but I just want to wrap this up. So the men that I find that call into my show that are serious about marriage and really looking for that, they're the men who want to be a part of their children's lives. They want, they want a legacy. They want a family. And that is...
Can we just say they want a family?
No, they want a legacy though.
No one's going to talk about
They
it.
really say
in 3
it, Joy.
generations.
I think you know exactly what Kendra G means when they say legacy. You know that she just means that men want to pass their name on, and they care about where their name is passed on. You know that. But right now, it's more important to just try to denigrate men and try to knock men down a peg. And I think it's all in a little bit of secret resentment and bitterness that you have for men, because men haven't responded to you the way that you would like. After you failed in your first marriage, you're back out here in the dating market, and men aren't responding to you the way you like. You're probably getting your cheeks clapped, but guys aren't pulling the trigger on you in a real way. You're sitting around 1% men, and they're going off and they're marrying younger, more cooperative women holding less baggage, and you just have to sit there and watch and get ready to go on the air. Probably a sad existence. Hit the subscribe button, also with notification bell to get notified every single time we post content just like this. See you guys on the next one.